Guys, morning, Colin here, and just wanted to go through what's happening here and talk about the importance of trend lines. Guys, one of my videos in my video course, I talk about support and resistance. Support and resistance is absolutely critical when learning how to trade Forex. Support and resistance is like everything, right? So when looking at support and resistance, we generally look at horizontal lines, right? So let me show you an example. Let me just do a horizontal line here so I can say, for example, up here. I can say, look, this in the past was a major support line, right? Because you see how how much of a bounce we had when we hit this zone, right? So it's understandable that if this pair were to come back up here, it would face major resistance. Okay, once you break through an area of support, then the role reverses and it now becomes resistance, right? Now, when it comes to drawing trend lines are basically just support and resistance, but horizontal lines, okay? So, very simple example. And you always want to try to stick with the trend, right? And when a trend is broken, then that will give you a signal um, with further movement in whatever direction that trend is broken. So for one, let's look at these movements that we see right here. And we're going to draw a trend line. So let us just tap here. You click on the square, circle, and triangle right down there. You want to click the plus button, and you want to click the third one, trend line. Okay, so for the trend line, you want to hit your thumb on the first, let's see here, if I'm just drawing it like that. Okay, we can see here, let's go here. Okay, so pretty much if you're identifying a trend line, is you want to find where generally at least 3 points connect, right? When you draw a horizontal line, at least where 3 points connect. So let's look at what's happening right here. So we have a trend line right here. Matter of fact, let me start it from right here. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, and if I go like that, okay, we're looking at this mini trend line, and these trend lines are everywhere. They're happening everywhere constantly, right? So in this case, let's look at this. So we're looking from this point, we're obviously in a downtrend. And as long as the trend is not broken in a channel, then you want to stick with the trend. So I've drawn the top of this channel right here. If I go further up, you can see where that goes. So we can see this is a trend line because if we're drawing from here, we notice it touches here, it touches the top here, touches the top here, touches the top here, touches the top here. So this is actually a trend line, right? And this is a resistance trend line. This is the top of the channel. In other words, we're going downwards, right? It's a downwards channel. We're going downwards. And now what I'm going to do is I want to find the bottom of this trend line. So I'm going to again go to the symbols, plus sign, add trend line, and now let's draw something. Oops, what did I do? Sorry, let me get these lines going here. Sorry guys, my big fingers sometimes can give some trouble. All right, so here's another example of this trend line, right? So again, we're looking here. It was here at the bottom. Here at the bottom. here at the bottom. We pierced through a little bit, but we still came up here at the bottom, here at the bottom, here at the bottom. So this is what you would call the bottom of the channel. This is the top of the channel. Okay, so again, this is the bottom of the channel, and this is the top of this channel. Okay, so what we're looking for, so whenever you can identify a channel, and normally all you need is at least at least two lows in the channel and two highs in this channel. So we realized we had a lower low, we went and formed a lower high. Another lower low stayed in the channel. Another lower high stayed in the channel. Another lower low stayed in the channel. Another lower high. So this is a clear channel. Lower low again. Came up a little bit, but came back down again. Now we're coming up to the top of this channel. And at this point, it looks like we're kind of breaking through a little bit, right? Looks like we're breaking through a little bit. So the other thing that we need to pay attention to, because we are on the 4-hour chart, is we are also now still under the 200 moving average, right? If we can get above this and close above this 200 moving average, that would be a good sign for a further retracement for a bit. Overall, look at the big picture. Are we in an uptrend or a downtrend? Overall, we are clearly still in a downtrend. So when you're looking at a downtrend, as you notice when I zoomed out on the daily, the trend lines are a little bit different, right? I got to kind of move them around a bit. Hold on. Okay. So if I'm drawing this trend on the daily, again, I have to move my spots here. We can see what's happening from a daily perspective. Oh. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, my big fingers will give me some problems sometimes. Okay. So once again, we see that this is a daily channel. So if you're trading on the daily time frame, right? If you're trading on the daily time frame, then here's a good picture of what this particular channel looks like. Okay? So when you're in a channel, you want to sell on the lower highs, and you want to buy on the lower lows, okay? Because every time we keep going, a lower low, then a lower high, lower low, then a lower high, lower low, then a lower high. So you want to sell. It's a sell opportunity. The only reason that would change is you look, if we were to break out of this channel, if we break out of this channel, then we'll have some upward movement. To be honest, at this point, I don't see us going past right here, because major resistance right here also coincides with this thick candle, major resistance, right? I don't see us going past it at all. And then I think we head further back down. This is if we were to break outside of this channel, right? So this is what we're paying attention to on this daily right here now. So as you can see, this is what drawing trend lines and channels are all about. Now remember, if you're trading on the daily time frame, it's going to take longer for this trade to actually materialize, right? It could take an entire day. If you're trading on a smaller time frame, let me go ahead and delete this. All right, if we're looking at a smaller time frame, okay, then obviously those trades will happen faster. So here I am on the 1 hour. I mean, if depends on your style of trading. If you like to get in and out of trades within a short period of time, then you trade on the smaller time frames. If you have the patience and you can withstand the big movements, then you can trade on a longer time frame. People who trade on longer time frames usually do not want to be stuck in front of their phone or in front of their computer all day. They want to be able to move away, make a trade, move away, and come back and check it later. Okay, so they trade on the bigger time frames. So once again, we see this channel happening. And if I want to draw my trend line, right? I mean, look at that. That pretty much obeyed that trend line, right? You see that at the top, came up close enough to the top, and again, it obeyed this trend line. So this would have been a point right here for a little sell. If you had sold right here at the top of this trend line, that would have gotten you, this is 88,054, 87,804. So that right there would have gotten you 20 pips. Right? That right there, that little trade would have gotten you 20 pips. And like I said, depending on your trading style, if you're a day trader, then that's all you're looking for, about 10 to 20 pips a day. That was your trade right there, right? So that's what we're looking for, guys. That's the kind of stuff you're looking for. But the most important thing is learn to master these trend lines, because the trend lines are everything. Okay? The trend lines, there's always a trend, and you want to stay with the trend. Identify these channels and trade within the channel. Look for when you have a breakout. Again, look at that, guys. Look at how that is obeying that channel. You see that? That's the importance of trend lines. Practice it today. Go back. I want you to go do something called backtesting. Backtesting simply means you scroll back on the chart and say, okay, let me see if I can find another example of trend lines, right? Can I see another example of trend lines? Just draw back. Just go back. Right? And once again, we can look back and let's say, let's say, I'll go here and I can draw a trend line here and say, look at that. Isn't that crazy? Look at that. Look at that, guys. Resistance here. Resistance again. Resistance again. Resistance again. So I would be selling at the top of these channels, right? Came down, up again. Look. Came through, pierced through a little bit, but came right back down, right off of the top of this. What? 93.9, 93.1, 80 pips right there. So that's how, just go ahead and back test it. Just go back, just pick different parts in time and just say, okay, can I identify trends? Let me look again. Trend line. Can I see a trend here? I could just get my finger on this thing properly. Right, so let's look at this. Now, look at that. This was a major uptrend here, came back, settled here. That gives you a clue. Next time this came here, now we look and pay attention. Is it going to break through the trend line? It broke through the trend line. So this trend line was once support. Once it breaks through the trend line and you look for it to retest, right here, now it became rejected by the trend line and it came back down. Right? And again, that is 87.4, 86.9, 50 pips. Right? So we see these trend lines everywhere, guys. Learn to master trend lines and you will find trading opportunities like crazy. All right? Take care.